Have you ever been on a boat ride so wild that eagles swoop down inches from your face, monkeys try to hijack your ride, and you squeeze through a cave so tight you have to hold your breath? Well, buckle up, because that's exactly what we're about to do in today's video. We're here in Langkawi Royal Mangrove Forest, a place straight out of an adventure movie. It's part of the UNESCO-listed Kilim Geoforest Park, which means we're about to step into millions of years of natural history. Now, let's set the scene right. It is a perfect mix of cloudy, breezy, and humid enough to remind you you're in the tropics, with a solid 26 to 28 degrees Celsius. Langkawi is famous for its gorgeous beaches, perfect for lounging all day with a coconut in hand. But if you're up for something a little more thrilling, this Tanjung Rhu Mangrove Tour is an absolute must. It's a half-day journey packed with jaw-dropping scenery, secret caves, and unexpected encounters with wildlife. We'll be cruising through ancient mangroves, squeezing through the narrow passage of Crocodile Cave, stepping into the pitch-black Bat Cave, and even venturing out toward the Andaman Sea. And let's be honest, because after all that exploring, we're definitely going to need a break. And that's why we'll be stopping by a floating restaurant, where you can refuel with some fresh seafood and take in the peaceful views of the river. We're now at Eagle Point, where Langkawi most fearless aerial hunters rule the sky. Our boat slows to a near standstill, and our captain does this smooth, effortless move, like a seasoned eagle whisperer, scattering food into the water. Within seconds, you see some eagles starting to circle above. And these are Brahmini kites and white-bellied sea eagles, Langkawi unofficial VIPs, and they've got only one thing on their minds. Just as we're marveling at the way the eagles dive-bomb straight at the water to snatch the food, it started to rain. At first, a few drops, but then it started to get heavier, and suddenly there were no more eagles. And just like that, our captain pushes the throttle forward, and we're off again, rain flying in our faces, speeding toward our next stop. The speed at which we are moving is just amazing, and I thought that we were flying over the water. If you've ever wanted to feel like you're in a James Bond chase scene, this is it. The boat kicks into high gear, slicing through the bends of the river like it's drifting through a racetrack, and water sprays up on both sides. The boat slows down and here we are. This is Monkey Point. And immediately, it looks like we've got company. Dozens of monkeys are gathered along the branches and rocks, watching us with mischievous curiosity. You ever get that feeling that someone's watching you? Multiply that by 50, and that's what it feels like right now. And the second we stop, these little guys come crawling down from the trees with tails flicking, eyes locked on us like we're walking snack dispensers. At first, they're just observing, playing it cool. But then, one monkey jumps onto the edge of the boat, and suddenly, it's like someone rang the dinner bell. Pro tip: don't bring any food unless you want to start a full-blown monkey negotiation war. And these little pickpockets are faster than you think, and once they grab something, consider it gone forever. Honestly, though, it's hard to be mad. They're hilarious to watch, and for the most part, they're pretty friendly, as long as you don't try to take back whatever they've stolen. The boat glides smoothly along the serene waters of the Kilim River, the earlier rain leaving a fresh, earthy scent in the air. The dense mangroves on either side create a natural corridor, their roots dipping into the water like fingers seeking purchase. And the sky remains overcast, casting a soft, diffused light over the landscape. After our lively encounter with the mischievous monkeys, we're now cruising at a leisurely pace, giving us a chance to soak in the tranquil beauty of Langkawi mangrove forests. As we round a bend, our guide points ahead to a low-lying cave entrance barely skimming the water's surface. And welcome to Crocodile Cave, or as the locals call it, Gua Buaya. Now, before you start scanning the water for lurking reptiles, let me assure you, there are no actual crocodiles here. The cave earned its name because, from certain angles, the rock formation resembles a crocodile's snout. This natural tunnel was carved out by an underground stream ages ago, creating a passage that, at low tide, allows small boats like ours to navigate through. Timing is everything here. During high tide, the water level rises, making the cave impassable. And luckily, we've hit the tidal jackpot today. Our captain skillfully guides the boat through, and the limestone ceiling is so low that I can practically count the stalactites hanging above. Next up, we're headed to the Bat Cave, because apparently, we haven't had our fill of dark, mysterious caverns today. Stay tuned, and maybe keep your collars up because I hear the bats there are quite the fashion critics. As we continue our journey through Langkawi's enchanting mangroves, we pass by the floating restaurant. We'll be stopping there later for a well-deserved break and, hopefully, some delicious local fare. But for now, our adventure beckons. And maybe now is the right time to subscribe to our channel, if you have not done so yet, and remember to hit the notification bell, so that you do not miss our next video releases. And do drop us a comment, to let us know if you have enjoyed this video, or to share your own experience of Langkawi. Our next destination is the Bat Cave, or Gua Kelawar as the locals call it. Nestled within the Kilim Geoforest Park, this limestone cave is home to thousands of bats, hanging like tiny, furry chandeliers from the ceiling. But before we dive into this nocturnal world, a few housekeeping notes. There's a small entrance fee of 2 ringgit per person, and if you didn't bring a torchlight, you can rent one for 1 ringgit. And trust me, you'll want a torch because it's really dark in there. Now, a word to the wise, monkeys abound in this area. And they're cute, they're curious, and they're convinced that everything you have belongs to them. Stepping onto the boardwalk, we're immediately enveloped by the cool, damp air of the cave. And the path is well maintained, but watch your step as some sections might be slippery, especially after the rain. Shining our torches upward, we spot them, thousands of bats, nestled together in the nooks and crannies of the cave's ceiling. It's a mesmerizing sight, and surprisingly, they're unbothered by our presence. And remember, no flash photography, we wouldn't want to startle our sleepy hosts. Beyond the bats, the cave itself is a geological wonder. And the stalactites and stalagmites tell a story millions of years in the making. It's humbling to stand amidst such ancient formations, a silent testament to the Earth's ever-evolving canvas. Langkawi Bat Cave is a limestone cave formed over 400 million years ago, nestled within the dense mangrove forests of Tanjung Rhu. The cave is relatively small, stretching about 60 meters, but what it lacks in size, it makes up for in sheer mystery. As you walk through, you'll notice how moist and cool the air is, and this is because limestone is porous and absorbs water, making the cave an ideal home for its winged inhabitants. And they are the Malayan horseshoe bat and the large-eared tomb bat. These bats are insectivores, meaning they feast on mosquitoes, moths, beetles, and other small insects that thrive in the mangroves. In fact, a single bat can consume up to 1,000 mosquitoes in just one night, making them nature's own pest control squad. Bats in Langkawi are completely harmless unless you're an insect. And they are shy, nocturnal creatures and prefer to stay undisturbed. However, they do startle easily, so avoid using flash photography or making loud noises inside the cave. Some parts of the cave are low and narrow, requiring a bit of crouching to get through. And the walls are covered in layers of minerals, giving them a smooth, almost polished look in some areas. Even on hot days, the temperature inside the cave remains cool and humid, making it a perfect hideout for creatures needing shelter from the heat. The cave is pitch dark inside and you won't see the bats without a light. And watch out for monkeys, they roam near the entrance and love to steal snacks and small items. As you leave the cave and step back into daylight, do take a deep breath and appreciate this hidden gem of Langkawi. And the mangroves, the limestone formations, and the bats all work together to create one of the most fascinating ecosystems in Malaysia. As we left the bat cave, I was already picturing a nice, relaxing stop at the floating restaurant, maybe a cold drink, a few selfies, and just chilling for a bit. But oh no, our boat captain had other plans. Instead of slowing down, he gunned the engine, zipping toward the Andaman Sea. And it was like stepping into an entirely different world. And the boat rocked up and down, bouncing over the choppy waters. The once calm and smooth river started to widen, and the mangrove trees that had been hugging us on both sides began to disappear. And then, just as suddenly as the chaos began, we slowed down near a towering limestone hill. There, in huge bold letters, was a sign that reads, "If you've ever seen those Hollywood-style hillside signs, this one is Langkawi version, except instead of being in a city, it's surrounded by untouched nature, dramatic cliffs, and ancient rocks that have been standing for nearly 500 million years." Our captain gave us a few minutes to snap pictures, and honestly, it was breathtaking. The whole place had this untouched, prehistoric vibe, like something out of Jurassic Park. I half expected a pterodactyl to swoop in at any moment. Finally, we arrived at the floating restaurant, which is a wooden platform built on stilts right in the middle of the river. But before we could even think about food, a small local boy, probably no older than 10, ran up to us and said, "Come, I show you fish." And just like that, we were on a mini fish tour, led by our pint-sized expert. The restaurant isn't just a place to eat, but it's also a fish farm, home to some of the most interesting creatures of the Andaman waters. After the tour, we finally took a break, grabbed some cold drinks, and just soaked in the peaceful vibes. The floating restaurant itself was simple, with just wooden tables and chairs, a few hammocks, and panoramic views of the mangrove forests. It was the perfect midway stop, a moment to breathe before we jumped back on the boat for the next adventure. There, half submerged in the mangrove waters, was a sunken boat, its once proud hull now claimed by the river. And just a little farther ahead, a boat that had sunk so deep that only its mast was still visible, sticking out from the water like a ghostly reminder of its former life. We hopped back into the boat, ready to head back to the starting point. As we cruised gently back, I couldn't help but reflect on how incredible the day had been so far. We'd fed eagles in the rain, had close encounters with monkeys, squeezed through caves, and even seen sunken boats telling their own forgotten stories. Soon enough, we arrived at the Royal Mangrove meeting point once more, and we were now hungry. Like, seriously hungry after all that excitement. So, we hopped into the car and drove just a short distance to the nearby Scarborough Fish and Chips near Tanjung Rhu Beach. If you're ever in Langkawi, you need to visit this place because it's a seafront gem with panoramic views of the beach and the Andaman Sea. And let me tell you, the fish and chips here were legendary. Crispy on the outside, flaky and juicy on the inside. Next, we decided to take a little coffee break and we drove over to Honeybee Cafe. But here's the twist, because my husband wasn't feeling it. And he was in the mood for something a little more relaxed. So, we decided to change plans and headed to chill by the beach at Shinang Hill beachfront, and I'm so glad we did. The moment we arrived, we both knew this was the place. And it was right on the beachfront, with white sands and a chill vibe. The breeze was perfect, and the sound of the waves crashing against the shore was the soundtrack to our relaxation. And we ordered coffee, sat back, and just soaked in the amazing sea views. We could have stayed there all day, honestly. The calm waters, the vibes, all of it was like being in a postcard. And I felt like we had discovered one of Langkawi's best-kept secrets. Come, join me and let's take a walk on the beach. We took a stroll along the beach, feeling the soft sand between our toes, and just enjoyed the serenity of the place. And the weather was perfect, the sea was calm, and life felt incredibly simple and beautiful. But as the day started winding down, we knew one last treat was in store. It was time for dinner, and we were heading straight to my favorite seafood spot in Langkawi, and it is called Orchid Ria Seafood Restaurant. If you're a fan of fresh seafood, this place is an absolute must. The crabs were delicious, the noodles were perfectly cooked, and let's not forget the fresh coconut juice, as it is the perfect way to wash it all down. I was stuffed, no joke. But I'm not complaining. To walk off all that food, we drove over to Maha Tower to explore the night market. It was lively, bustling with people, and the air was filled with the sweet aroma of street food. There were live music performances, tons of stalls selling everything from souvenirs to local delicacies, and the lighting made the whole scene feel magical. The atmosphere was vibrant and people were laughing, shopping, and just soaking in the nightlife vibes. There was this beautiful sense of community, where everyone was out enjoying themselves, and it felt like we were part of it all. And with that, our day came to a close. From the adventure through the mangroves to a relaxing meal by the beach, Langkawi truly has it all. Whether you're into exploring nature, tasting fresh seafood, or just kicking back and enjoying the views, this island knows how to deliver an unforgettable experience. So, what's the moral of the story? If you ever find yourself in Langkawi, make sure to get off the beach for a day and explore the hidden gems of the island. And trust me, you won't regret it. Before I wrap this up, I've got to tell you about one of our favorite experiences in Malaysia. And if you're a fan of cultural festivals, then you absolutely need to check out our Chinese New Year adventure in Penang. So, if you're looking for some inspiration for your next trip to Malaysia, make sure to watch our Penang Chinese New Year vlog. Until next time, happy travels, and make sure to subscribe, like, and drop a comment to let me know, what would your perfect Langkawi day look like?